Welcome back to the Winter Wolf's Den, guys. Winter Wolf here, coming at you with a quick review of She-Hulk. Came out on Disney Plus today, a little bit earlier. We're getting the weekly drop on Thursdays, 3 a.m., so I won't be getting to these until much later in the day. But it's not really gonna, I don't think I'm gonna be missing it on this one, guys. I'll give you my initial thoughts. Not really gonna do any kind of breakdown through this one because I don't think there's too much to it. I'm disappointed. I had a pretty good run with Miss Marvel. I know that show wasn't, it wasn't specifically aimed at me as, a guy in his mid-20s. Not really. Definitely not a show aimed for me, but the writing was so good. The family dynamics on Miss Marvel was so good that as a creative and a writer myself, I admired what they got done there. And even though the story was superficial when it came to certain elements of depth and plot, it still carried. The lead was really likable. Maslani, I think was her name. Great in the role. I liked it. We get a whole different thing here with She-Hulk to get back on topic. There's nothing in this 35-minute -5 for credits. It's only about 30 minutes. Nothing in the runtime here that was remotely entertaining for me at any junction. It seemed like a really callous throwback to some of the earlier Disney Plus shows that were just kind of based around shitting on established characters. And it was a complete bore fest for me to watch when it came through earlier today. Actually, I tried to catch it on a lunch break and realized that I didn't even want to stomach it while I was on lunch. It really is a tale of two shows, and I just mentioned Miss Marvel and their lead here, Tatiana Maslani playing Jen Walters or the She-Hulk. Two completely different characters, and I get it, but they could have been written in a way that even if this particular character was supposed to not be a 17-year-old girl personified like Miss Marvel kind of is, they could have done more to make her likable. I mean, right from the rip, Jen Walters is just kind of an obnoxious kind of bitch. There's every frame, every scene in this show seems like it's set up to make you not like her unless you're I'm going to be safe here, a very certain demographic of people that have an axe to grind with guys. There, I'll say it like that. Which is too bad. It's just not how, it's not how these types of shows are supposed to work. And the oddball part about that is that I wouldn't begrudge, the all-female team behind the camera, the writers, from having their show like this, where they want to paint every guy as either a boomer out of time, the butt of a joke, or a latent sexual predator. Like, fine, have your show. The problem is that guys are no longer able to have their show where there's female eye candy, or they make jokes that come at, a woman's expense every now and again, or when they're allowed to act like guys and be aggressive. We've somehow replaced all of those things in these shows with women who behave the same way, and then we're expected to celebrate them. And I just don't get it. I mean, start to finish this show, right from the get-go, they changed how she gets her powers. Fine, they had to make some modernizations to some things that they wanted to do. That's great. But in changing how she gets her powers, they eliminate the writers having the opportunity to deal with the conflict of she gets her powers because she didn't have a choice and Bruce Banner gave her the blood transfusion that she needed after being wounded, to now they're in a car accident together and some of his Hulk blood somehow gets in the wound she sustained in the car accident, which is kind of dumb considering to this point the only thing I think we've seen able to wound the Hulk in the Marvel universe was when Fenrir Wolf took a chunk out of his abdomen in Ragnarok, but whatever, I guess a regular car crash can puncture his skin now, whatever. So the show starts right off the rip where they get in a car accident. She's of course the one that crawls out of the car and somehow rips his door off. Pre-powers, I might add. So she's 125 pounds, just, bends a steel aluminum door, off the Hulk, who of course is wounded and can't save himself. They go through that. They get through a couple of scenes that set up even that, because the whole show is told in kind of like a flashback form that set up her powers, which incidentally, guys, spoiler alert, I'm hearing that this is the only appearance Ruffalo has in the show. They gave you the the mentor character getting shit on. We got that out of the way really quick, and he won't be back. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we get multiple scenes where like she's harassed by a group of guys outside a bar. She gets harassed by her legal co-counsel on the case that they're setting up for the end of the episode. It's like every single male in this episode is a piece of shit. Like every single one. Even Bruce Banner, who's trying to help her, gets shit on by this chick routinely. Like she doesn't thank him. She just steals his Jeep. I'll give them one little bit of credit here. At least when it came to their physical throwdown towards the end, he gets a couple of shots in. They didn't go the typical MCU route where like the guy can't lay hands even in a superhero duel. You can't have that. So I mean, at least they got to slug it out a little bit. But there were even problems kind of inside of that throwdown too. Like we're talking about somebody that just came into their powers in the last 24 hours, and she's able to successfully beat this dude to a stalemate. And Bruce Banner, who's been the Hulk now going on 20 years MCU time, and has fought alien threats, has fist fought Thanos, I don't know, fist fought the Abomination and other giant ass things that were about to kill him. It just seems silly. This show is also sadly a case in point example of what happens when studios rush things through production and just splurge out onto their platforms. The CGI is awful. I didn't mind it so much on her. It kind of just looks like they colorized her a little bit green. They modified her body a little bit with the muscle tone, but like that wasn't even the bad part. The awful part was really aspects of the Hulk versus She-Hulk fight, and then the throwdown in the courtroom at the end, where they have a known and named villain in Titania throw down in that scene from the She-Hulk's comic run, but she gets her ass kicked in like less than 8 seconds, and never named, and she's taken into custody, and God only knows if we're gonna see her again. You might not. But that battle scene at the end was the worst thing I think I've ever seen come out of the MCU. You could basically see the wire suspending different people as they run through certain parts of the action and the choreography. It was just embarrassing. I have my suspicions that this show is yet another example of something that started as a 2-hour or maybe a 90-minute script that just got repurposed and cut down. Because again, I think this is getting the typical Disney 6-episode run. So most of these episodes, if this is any indicator from the other shows that they've done, you're gonna get six to 8. My money's on 6. 6 episodes that run somewhere between 30 and 35 minutes long, already excising out the credits at the end. There is a stinger in this for anybody who cares to, but it's also stupid. I don't know, I'm not really down for Captain America being the butt of a joke, much less being sandwiched into a shitty episode of probably the crappiest MCU show they've made. Just didn't like that at all. Not funny. I was hoping that coming off of Miss Marvel, we were going to get a little something different, where if this was going to be some kind of Ally McBeal Deadpool mashup where she's breaking fourth wall, we're getting into some of the from Futurama, like single female lawyer in the city or whatever. Hopefully that's coming up in the next couple episodes, but the humor here fell flat, even when they weren't necessarily making the jokes at the guy's expenses. They're not funny. Like they don't do anything particularly funny. There's not really any good slapstick that goes down. Ruffalo's not funny at all. Like there's none of his awkward, anxious, I'm in the presence of genius and greatness when he's with RDJ as Tony Stark, or when he's aw-shucked by Captain America. There's none of that. He's just regular nerd professor, fake smart Hulk now, and she takes her shots at that. Maslani does good as She-Hulk. I guess she's only as good as the script they give her, but nothing she says is funny. And I know from the comic that the character is supposed to be humorous and lighthearted, and is supposed to take some verbal jabs and kind of be, a little sarcastic and quippy, but there's none of that here. There's like no laughing out loud, not even any half-cracked smiles. It was just bad, guys, and I don't want to ramble on this anymore because I really didn't like this show. I'm gonna do probably a second video tomorrow about the alleged review bombing on this, because it seems to be a little bit of a controversy going on with how, once again, Rotten Tomatoes and other aggregators are kind of taking some liberties with who's allowed to say what and what reviews we're gonna keep. But that's all from me on this one, guys. I'm gonna bounce. I'll take a look at the second episode next week and decide if we're gonna watch the whole thing, and we'll see you in the next one.